What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another video blog. Pablo Mentor over here. You see, most of the things that you believe in are just bullshit. We've been lied to for a long time. And those lies, they sink into your subconscious mind. These continuous thoughts, they become a habit. And those habits become automatic thoughts, which in other words becomes your beliefs. Your belief system is not as accurate as you think it is. Okay, that's why we have limiting beliefs. And most of these beliefs, they don't really come from you, from conscious thought that you determined, that you chose. Most of the beliefs that you have were passed on to you. Now, what do I mean by this? And let me give you a couple of examples. In my own job in the industry of being an image consultant, for example, this is how I started. You see that with colors very easily. You think that pink is for girls and blue is for boys. And it's actually the opposite. I wrote a book, an entire book, just explaining the power of colors, the impact of each color. And on that study, because I studied a lot to be able to write this book, I realized that it was just a marketing tool, a marketing strategy to sell. Because some people, especially people like, I'm talking about the early 20th century, people in Macy's and people in big stores, they saw that some people were wanting to use pink for girls, and I'm not going to tell you the whole story, but overall, they wanted to make this marketing advertising campaign to sell more because they saw it would want people to say, and they basically changed the whole meaning of a color just to increase their sales. And it was around the 1940s that the whole consensus we achieved that people believe that pink is for girls, is soft, and blue is for boys. And that's the belief for the majority of people. For example, me, I'm about to be a father and I'm about to have a daughter. And everyone thinks that, everyone's giving me pink shit. And, because she's going to be a little girl. That's the belief of an entire society. And that's so fucking stupid, isn't it? First of all, because very few people ever get to actually understand the deeper meaning of things. They just regurgitate everything that they've heard. What do you mean? Yeah, pink is for women, of course. When they don't even realize the wavelength, because that's basically a color. Color is just light bouncing on different things, and it's a wavelength. And each wavelength represents something. It has a psychological impact. It has, of course, a physical impact, an emotional impact, even a spiritual impact, you could say. And in a nutshell, pink, it's the combination of red and white. Blue is more nurturing. Blue, it reminds us of earth. It reminds us of the ocean, of water. Water is the bringer of life. And pink, it reminds us of boldness, more creativity. It has to do more with red. Red is a masculine color, psychologically speaking. Now, colors don't give a fuck about masculine and feminine. I'm just saying the implication, how we react, our bodies, how they react, whether we like it or not. If you are stuck in a, let's say that, as an example, you are put in a room full of red. There are certain things that will happen within you, whether you like it or not, even if you're conscious about it. Certain things, you will react towards this frequency, which is basically what it is, this wavelength, this vibration. Your body will react towards that vibration. So just as an example, right? And people still believe, even if you give them this information, some people still believe that pink is for women and blue is for boys. Another thing, I used to be, I started as a chef before I became an image consultant. I started as a chef and I traveled around the world, and I ended up working in some of the best restaurants in Spain. And because I learned a lot about cooking and I learned a lot about food, the food industry, I used to hate vegans. I actually used to hate vegans. I was like, come on, I didn't even like salads or anything that had to do vegetarians. I'm like, come on, man, I'm a chef, you know. I know about food. I don't like about these vegetarian, these foodies that they don't know what they're talking about. One of my best friends, Brian Casella, shout out to him. He's been a vegan for a long time, longer than I have. I've been vegan for about 4 years, 4.5, something like that. But before I went vegan, I was talking with my friend. I was staying with him, and I used to tease him all the time. I used to tell him, man, you're such a pussy. You're such a fucking idiot. You don't know what you're doing, man. Look at you. Something will happen to you. And I thought, my belief was that I knew what I was doing because I was a chef, because some preconceived ideas that I had. So the first thing that I want to say is, the more rigid you are, the more you lose, or the harder you'll fall. We don't know everything, okay? We do not know everything. Even if you've studied for a long time, even if you're a fucking, I don't know, an older person. Let's say that you're an older person and you've been studying or dedicating your entire life onto one subject. Still, you don't know everything. We're always learning, and that's why we have to have an approach of flexibility. Because I've been a vegan for 4.5 years now, and I have to thank my brother Brian for it, because I decided to take the challenge and say, well, let's fucking try it, and then my entire life changed. Eating more clean, knowing, and then combining my knowledge as a chef with good food, clean food, then my whole life changed. But it was based on one belief. It was basically a thought. Your beliefs are nothing more than recurring thoughts, that they become habits. You understand what I'm saying? Pause the video and keep that in your head. Your beliefs don't matter. Your beliefs are shit, basically. They come and go as your thoughts come and go. But the main difference is that your thoughts, if you keep thinking one thing, if these thoughts keep recurring, they become a habit. Once they become automatic, these thoughts, they become automatic, then they become part of a belief. They become beliefs. And then beliefs, they sink into the subconscious mind, which means you're not even aware of the things that you're doing, believing, saying, because they're just part of who you are. And sometimes you even, how do you say it? You even defend that, because your brain, the way that your brain and your mind, not just your brain, but your mind overall, the way that it works, is it wants to be congruent. It wants to stay consistent with your beliefs. Okay? So you see how the chain, it follows? And something as simple as a thought, you may think, well, a thought, whatever, right? They come and they go. But thoughts, another thing that I want to say before I end up this video, they get affected. Your thoughts, your brain, your mind gets affected, gets influenced by repetition. So if you hear a bunch of bullshit over and over and over again, even if it's a lie, if you hear it over and over and over again, guess what? It'll become a recurrent automatic thought, which means it will become a belief system, which means it'll be a part of your subconscious mind, which means it'll become a part of who you are. Unknowingly, you'll be doing things because they're just part of who you are. Some of them you defend, like, oh yeah, fuck vegans, or yeah, pink is for women, and you're not even aware of it. You are not presented with the facts. You just are not aware of it. And then what happens is there's a cognitive dissonance when facts are presented in front of you that actually, shatter that belief system that you have. If you're not strong enough mentally, and if you're not flexible in your approach towards life, if you're very rigid in your beliefs, oh, this is what it is, this is what I believe in, and fuck everything else, the harder you'll fall. Because there's going to be a mental breakdown for you. Literally, mental breakdown. I've seen this many different times with all my clients. I see it again and again and again. Because they're not ready, right? And their beliefs are shattered, or destroyed. So they have to cope with the idea that they've been living a lie, and they've been lying to themselves, and the way that they've built their identity, the way their identity is constructed, it's basically a lie. It's fugazi, it's bullshit. So how do you, most people are not aware of this, how do they cope with that idea that, man, I'm just a liar, I'm full of shit, basically. So that's why you have to be strong, you have to stay flexible, and you have to understand that you don't know everything, and that will keep you hungry for more and flexible in your approach. Because then, if you're not flexible, if I wasn't flexible, I would have become a vegan, and I would have learned imagology. I wouldn't have achieved the things that I've achieved in my lifetime, or meet the people that I've met, or just be able to sit here in front of you and share my thoughts and my wisdom. So remember what your beliefs are, and don't pay too much attention to them. That is an alchemy tool, and then you'll understand that you can change your beliefs. You'll learn how to shatter your limiting beliefs. You can change, you can transform yourself to become a better version of yourself. And then also realize how much we've been lied to. Okay, with something as simple as colors, we've been lied to for a long time. So most of these beliefs that are in the collective, the beliefs of a society, like religious beliefs and all these things, even health system beliefs, educational beliefs, most of them are full of shit. They're just there because they are operating on an agenda. And once you understand that, you are free. You are free to become whoever the fuck you want to become. And your life gets better. You improve, you evolve as an individual. And that's what I want for you. Okay, be the best version of yourself. Thank you for listening. Until the next one. Ometeotl.